Sometimes the most powerful moments on television are not the loud ones. They don't arrive with dramatic music or urgent headlines. They arrive quietly and stay with you. In a recent heartfelt moment, Ripa opened up about family, life, and love, sharing thoughts that felt deeply personal yet universally relatable. Sitting beside her was Consuelos, not as a co-host, not as a performer, but as a partner who has walked beside her through every chapter. This wasn't about breaking news. It was about real life. Ripa has spent decades in front of cameras. Viewers know her smile, her humor, and her confidence. But behind that polished presence is a woman navigating the same questions many people face: how to balance work, family, and love over time. In this moment, Kelly didn't talk about ratings or schedules. She spoke about growth, about how life changes quietly without warning, and how love must change with it. Mark listened attentively, offering space rather than commentary. That silence carried meaning. Family as an anchor. One of the most touching parts of Kelly's reflection was her focus on family. She spoke about how family doesn't remain the same forever. Children grow, roles shift, priorities rearrange themselves, and through all of it, parents learn to let go while still holding on. Kelly acknowledged that family life is not always easy or organized. Some days feel rushed, others feel emotional, but those imperfect moments often become the ones that matter most. Mark's quiet presence reinforced that truth. Family is built not only through words, but through consistency, love that evolves over time. Kelly spoke honestly about long-term love. She didn't describe it as effortless or perfect. Instead, she described it as intentional. Love, she shared, is something you choose repeatedly, even on days when life feels heavy. Over time, romance transforms. It becomes partnership, friendship, mutual respect, and learning to listen when speaking would be easier. Mark's reactions, small nods, gentle smiles, showed shared understanding. This wasn't scripted affection. It was lived experience. What stood out most was not what was said, but how it was said. Consuelos allowed Kelly the space to speak openly. He didn't interrupt or redirect. His role was supportive, reminding viewers that emotional strength often shows itself in quiet ways. Sometimes love is not about fixing problems. Sometimes it's about listening without judgment. That message resonated deeply. Kelly reflected on living a public life while protecting private moments. She acknowledged the challenge of sharing enough to connect with viewers while still preserving what belongs only to family. Over the years, she and Mark have learned where to draw boundaries and why those boundaries matter. That balance has helped their relationship endure under constant visibility. Why this moment felt different. There were no shocking revelations in this conversation, no dramatic pauses meant to go viral, and that's exactly why it worked. Viewers recognized authenticity. They felt invited into a moment that wasn't manufactured. In a world filled with exaggerated emotion, this calm honesty stood out. Viewers saw themselves. Many fans shared that Kelly's words felt familiar, not because of celebrity, but because of relatability, the feeling of juggling responsibilities, the desire to stay connected, the effort it takes to nurture love over time. This moment reminded viewers that emotional experiences don't belong only to famous people, they belong to everyone. Kelly also touched on how love expands beyond romance. It becomes shared responsibility, mutual care, showing up even when energy is low, choosing patience over pride. These are the moments that define long-lasting relationships. As life moves forward, people change. Kelly acknowledged that growth can sometimes feel uncomfortable, but growing together rather than apart requires communication and trust. Mark's presence illustrated that growth doesn't have to create distance. It can deepen connection when both people are willing to adapt. This emotional exchange didn't need dramatic framing. Its strength came from sincerity. Kelly Ripa speaking honestly about family, life, and love, supported by Mark Consuelos, created a moment that lingered long after it ended. As the conversation came to a close, there was no final takeaway neatly packaged for viewers, and that felt appropriate. Life doesn't offer clean endings. Love doesn't follow scripts. Kelly and Mark reminded viewers that meaningful moments often happen quietly, through reflection, listening, and shared understanding. And perhaps that's why this moment mattered. What part of Kelly's reflection resonated with you most? Did it remind you of your own family or relationships? Share your thoughts in the comments. Like, subscribe, and stay with us for more calm, honest conversations that focus on what truly matters. As the conversation gently came to an end, there was no dramatic pause and no final statement meant to grab headlines. And that was exactly what made this moment so meaningful. Kelly Ripa didn't try to offer a perfect conclusion. Instead, she left viewers with something far more real, the reminder that family, life, and love are ongoing journeys, not stories with clear endings. Sitting beside her, Mark Consuelos didn't rush to fill the silence. His quiet presence spoke volumes, showing that sometimes the strongest form of support is simply being there. Kelly reflected on how family changes with time. The roles we play shift, priorities evolve, and the people we love continue to grow in ways we don't always expect. She acknowledged that holding everything together isn't always easy, especially when life feels full and demanding. And yet there was comfort in her honesty. What resonated most was her understanding of long-term love, not as something effortless, but as something intentional. Love, she shared, is about choosing each other again and again. Even on ordinary days when nothing feels particularly exciting, it's about listening more than speaking, understanding more than reacting. Mark's quiet support reinforced that message. His role wasn't to explain or fix anything, it was to listen. And that simple act reminded viewers that love doesn't always need big gestures. Sometimes it just needs patience. This moment didn't ask viewers to react loudly. It invited them to reflect, to think about their own families, their own relationships, and the ways love shows up in their everyday lives. In a world filled with noise and exaggeration, this calm honesty felt refreshing. And maybe that's why this conversation stayed with so many people, because it wasn't about fame or television. It was about connection. Now we want to hear from you. Did Kelly's words reflect something in your own life? What does long-term love or family mean to you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your voice matters here. And if you appreciate honest, meaningful conversations like this one, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay with us for more moments that truly matter.